Hello programmers, we're going to keep talking about inheritance. I created a new example where I have three different classes. I've got a student class and students give the greeting, yo dude. Then I've got the employee class and employees say, can I help you? And that's their greeting. And then I have a student employee. And this is the first time I'm going to use multiple inheritance. I'm going to say that all student employees are students and they are also employees. So we can pull from two parents. In this case, there's not much inside of these parent classes, but this is how you do multiple inheritance with just a comma in between each of the parents that you want to inherit from. And not only that, but I'm going to also override the parents' version of greet, both of the parents' version of greet, and have my own version of greet. And student employees are really busy doing school and work at the same time, so their greeting is pretty much I am busy. So we go ahead and run this, and we see that it prints out I'm busy, just like we were expecting. Let's try mentioning something that we talked about last lecture, where if you were to have a pointer or a reference of a parent class type like employee. Let me see if I can spell employee right. Employee, and a reference to that employee, and we'll say E, and the employee is going to reference Jane. It's still possible to say employee greet. And which greet are we going to see when we run this? Well, we would like to have polymorphism. We'd like for a reference and a pointer to act like whatever object they're pointing to. But what we see is it acts like the parent class, can I help you? So to get Jane to actually act like a student employee, we need to not forget to use the word virtual every time we're using a function that a child class might override the definition of that. And now I'm going to run this again, and we'll see, because we're calling greet twice, we're going to see I'm busy twice. Okay, so that was multiple inheritance. You don't often see real-life examples with multiple inheritance because it can create some issues. And let me purposely create an issue there. I'm going to add another class, person. So students are people, so they should probably inherit from that person class. And hey, employees are also people, so I'm going to have them inherit from the person class. And everything's the same. The student employee is a student and is an employee. So what's going to happen here? Well, in main, I'm going to check and make sure polymorphism's still working. Let's put virtual up here as well. And I'm going to try to create an instance of a new student employee, put it in that pointer to memory that's pointing the name of the variable is Jane, that we're pointing to a person, and a student employee is a person, and we're going to try to have Jane greet us. Well, it doesn't even compile. The reason it doesn't compile is because what we're looking at with this multiple inheritance is a picture that's kind of like this. So we have the student employee inherits from student and employee, student inherits from person, employee inherits from person. So there are two copies of person in this scenario, and it's getting very confused. It's saying it's ambiguous. So what we'd really like is this picture here. We would like only one copy of the person, like grandparent, parent of the parent. We'd only like one person, and the student can still inherit from person, employee can inherit from person, but we want only one copy of that person. To use this, to avoid having two copies of that person class, we're going to use the keyword virtual in a different way than we've used it before. So let's take a look. We are going to use the keyword virtual right here with our inheritance, right in front of the time when we're inheriting something that we don't want to inherit twice. And this use of virtual says exactly that. Don't inherit this twice, only inherit it once. And so now I'm going to try to compile and run, and we see that the red underline disappeared. The compile is working just fine, and I am able to create an instance of that student employee and have that student employee greet us with I'm busy. So a lot of times people want to avoid multiple inheritance because it creates problems like we just saw, and instead they look for an alternative where they can solve the problem with a single inheritance.